A rare blood moon will rise tonight in Asia, including Israel, during a total lunar eclipse.
A hint of red has been witnessed in the night sky as a rare blood moon total lunar eclipse took place this morning. The phenomenon occurs when the Earth, the Sun and the Moon align perfectly in a straight line.
Here is the president on where he thinks things stand right now. He said this yesterday. Listen here.
I think we're going to have a deal on Gaza very soon. It's a hell of a problem. Again, it's a problem we want to solve for the Middle East, for Israel, for everybody. Are you confident you can get them all released? Yeah, I think so. I think we're going to get them all.
And overnight, the president wrote this on Truth Social, Dan. Everyone wants the hostages home. Everyone wants this war to end. The Israelis have accepted my terms, and it is time for Hamas to accept as well. I have warned Hamas about the consequences of not accepting. He says, this is my last warning. There will not be another one. He says this is his last warning. So what happens next?
You can see that, hear it in the speeches of Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader. And he says two things. First of all, we have not signed a peace agreement. We're still fighting. We're still fighting, and we will continue to do so.
Well, much of the world was treated to a total lunar eclipse, also known as a blood moon, on Sunday evening. While the astronomical event was not visible in the U.S., sky gazers in Asia, Western Australia, and much of Europe and Africa were able to take in the sight of the moon turning a deep shade of red as it completely entered Earth's shadow.
Oh, look at it now.
That's
fantastic. Isn't that
gorgeous?
That is so. If you wake up right now, you can see that, but you won't because you're looking at us instead.
That's right.
You're watching it on our screens instead. But does anything weird happen, Kirsten, when
from an astrophysical point of view?
Yeah, and the moons and the charts and all that sort of stuff?
There are definitely superstitions around lunar eclipses and blood moons.
But beyond science, eclipses have always carried stories of destiny and mystery. And this one is no exception. The date September 7th connects with the number 7 in numerology, a number often linked to introspection, spiritual growth, and the search of wisdom. Astrologers too see eclipses as powerful moments, often described as cosmic turning points that stirred hidden energies.
The moon was visible to the naked eye above Ankara in Turkey as the sky glowed a deep red colour. Moving over to Cyprus, it looked to be almost a faded red. And the spectacle was also seen in the UAE, while the blood moon also captivated sky watchers in Beijing.
Across many traditions, an eclipse is viewed as a doorway between phases of life, a symbolic moment where one chapter closes and another begins. In astrology, being born during an eclipse is considered very rare and often linked with heightened significance. US President Donald Trump was born on June 14, 1946, under the shadow of a total lunar eclipse.
The Trump administration is considering imposing additional travel restrictions for certain delegations during the annual high-level UN General Assembly that begins here in New York later this month. The AP reports that potential travel and other restrictions could soon be imposed on delegations from Iran, Sudan, Zimbabwe, and Brazil.
Australia and France and Germany are planning to recognize a Palestinian state during the upcoming UN General Assembly. Hamas sees that to their advantage. Hamas is fighting an insurgency, and yeah, they're holding 50 hostages, reportedly 20 of whom are still alive. The war is currency for Hamas. It's the oxygen that keeps them going, and so I just can't be very optimistic that we're going to get to a deal. Israel wants to ensure that Gaza can no longer present a threat. They want to finish the job against Hamas, and they want the hostages to come home. It's going to be difficult to see all of that working out in the near term.
Yeah, man, aren't you right about that? I mean, you can kill a terror group, you can kill a terrorist, but you can't kill an ideology.
Graham Wood, he's out with a new piece titled The Neighbor from Hell. Israel and the United States delivered a blow to Iran, but it could come back stronger. It details how Tehran might rebound after last June's missile strikes between Israel and Iran, and then, of course, the U.S. bombing of 3 Iranian nuclear sites. Graham, it's a great piece in the new issue of The Atlantic. Thank you for being here this morning. In it, you sort of trace how Iran built up this proxy army, and we can get to that. But right now, just talk to viewers about where Iran stands at this moment in the aftermath of those high-profile strikes.
Yeah, so Iran worked for 20 plus years trying to build up this axis of resistance, which means a bunch of proxies outside of Iran so it could fight outside of Iran instead of being attacked inside. and it got attacked inside, and it lost that war. It was a period when Israel, the United States, and Iran all had to sort of show their cards. And Israel had the cards, the United States had the cards, and Iran did not have a bad hand in the sense that it had a ballistic missile element that was able to at least attack Israel to the point where Israel had to wonder whether it was going to run out of anti-missile missiles. But overall, what we saw was that the axis of resistance, those allies that Iran had, did not show up to the fight. And they were picked apart by Israeli intelligence, by Americans, and Iran did not really have the cards, have the goods to fight. So right now they're at a point where they look weaker than they have for many years.
So with that in mind, what is your read on the opportunity here, if you will? If it's not just that its proxies aren't around anymore. I guess the Houthis still are, but Hezbollah and Hamas both badly wounded. But even like someone like Russia hasn't stepped up to support Tehran. So just how fragile would you say is the regime?
I mean, you can ask the regime itself. The regime has a few important talking points here, and you can hear it in the speeches of Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader. And he says two things. First of all, we have not signed a peace agreement. We're still fighting. We're still fighting, and we will continue to do so. But also, he points out that they're at a nadir in their fortunes, but they've actually had worse before. So he points out that he's old enough. He's 86 years old. So looking back to the end of the Iran-Iraq war, Iran was really suffering. And it took them a few years, but they came up with a strategy that kept their enemies busy for decades to come. So I think they're at a point where they're still vigorous in their hatred of the United States, hatred of Israel, but they're looking for a new strategy. And if the past is any guidance, they'll find one, and it might take a little while for that to happen.
Yeah, I was going to say, because you have experts in your piece saying that even though they are at a low point, there's no expectation that the regime is going to fall. Instead, they've kind of got this blueprint strategy of what it looked like to rebuild in the past. And so what does that look like in this period right now?
I mean, it's possible that they will come up with something that we just won't be able to anticipate.
Sure.
Part of it, of course, is the nuclear idea. I mean, they have been pursuing nuclear weapons, or at least material that could turn into nuclear weapons for some time. The American strikes against them, of course, dealt a blow, but we don't know what kind of material they were able to get out. Yeah. And also the JCPOA, the Iran nuclear deal, gave unprecedented visibility to what they were doing, and we have none of that right now. What they say, though, is, again, we've had worse. We're going to sit back and we're going to find something to do. Now, Iran has had protests inside the country that have been also very vigorous and that have gotten nowhere. So the idea that the regime will simply collapse, that it will run out of steam, that there will be no Islamic Republic, or that it will change its goals, that's what seems to be totally impossible based on what we've seen.